Hey everyone, I'm Felicia Kashaveroff, an ICF-certified relationship coach and founder of Tend Task. Here's a relationship fact that might surprise you. If you think couples fight about money because they don't have enough of it, the research says you're completely wrong. I've been digging into the latest studies on financial conflict in relationships, and what I discovered will change how you think about every money argument you've ever had. Today, I'm sharing the science behind why couples really fight about money. And spoiler alert, it has less to do with the actual dollars in your bank account than you might think. Let's start with some jaw-dropping research from Dr. Sonia Britt at Kansas State University. She analyzed over 4,500 couples as part of the National Survey of Families and Households and found that arguments about money is by far the top predictor of divorce. Not children, not sex, not in-laws, money. But here's the part that shocked me. In her study, she controlled for income, debt, and net worth. And the results revealed it didn't matter how much you made or how much you were worth. Arguments about money are the top predictor for divorce because it happens at all levels. This blew apart everything I knew about financial conflict. It's not about being broke. It's about something much deeper. And here's another research finding that'll make you rethink everything. A longitudinal study following married women for over 25 years found that women who reported arguing often about money were nearly 3 times more likely to divorce compared to those who sometimes or hardly ever argued about money. The really fascinating part? Dr. Megan McCoy, a certified financial therapist at Kansas State, explains that money fights are qualitatively different from other types of arguments. They tend to last longer and are less likely to get resolved, so they create tension, leading to other arguments and spending less time together. So what's really happening here? The research reveals 3 patterns that most couples and most relationship advice completely miss. Recent research by Dr. Joanna Peets and her team analyzed what couples actually fight about when they say they're fighting about money. And guess what? It's rarely about the money itself. The first pattern is that money fights are actually value conflicts in disguise. As Dr. McCoy puts it, many fights in couples come from us feeling like our partner is putting our dreams at risk by overspending on things that we don't value or not letting us spend in areas that we value. Think about it. When you argue about that expensive coffee habit, you're not really arguing about the $7. You're arguing about priorities, respect, and whether your partner values what you value. The second pattern the research reveals is that money fights are often about power and control. Dr. Jeff Dew's research found that financial disagreements often arise because of perceived financial inequity. When couples perceive that money is being handled unfairly in the relationship, conflict may arise. Now, this is huge because it explains why couples where one person makes more money often struggle with financial harmony. Further, the gender wage gap means that in many heterosexual couples, men statistically earn more, which can foster default power dynamics where the higher earner is allowed more say in financial decisions. Even couples who want to be equitable can find themselves defaulting to power dynamics where the higher earner has more financial decision-making authority. Not because they intend to, but because our economic system has already stacked the deck. The third pattern could be the most important. Our emotional attachment to money runs deeper than we realize. Research shows that individuals associate money with powerful meanings and emotions. For some of us, money represents security and safety. For others, it represents freedom and fun. Studies have found that tightwads who generally spend less than they would ideally like to spend, and spendthrifts who generally spend more than they would ideally like to spend, tend to marry each other. But despite this complementary attraction, these differences predict conflict over finances, which in turn predict diminished marital well-being. What does this mean for your relationship? Every time you have a money fight, you're not just disagreeing about a purchase. You're triggering deep-seated beliefs about security, control, values, and worth. This is where traditional financial advice can fail. Most couples get told to communicate better or create a budget together. But you can't budget your way out of fundamental differences in values. And you can't simply communicate your way past power imbalances, especially if you don't see that they exist. So what does the research say actually works? Dr. McCoy and her team have identified 3 evidence-based approaches that successful couples use. First, successful couples address the meaning behind money, not just the money itself. McCoy recommends that couples talk about what money means to you, because you and your partner are likely to feel differently at times about how money should be spent. This isn't about compromise, it's about understanding. When you understand that your partner's reluctance to spend on restaurants comes from childhood food insecurity, suddenly it's not about being cheap. It's about feeling safe. Second, the research is clear that financial equity matters. Dew's studies found that when couples perceive that money is being handled unfairly in the relationship, conflicts may arise. The key is that both partners' feelings and values are equally prioritized in the relationship and in decision-making. This might mean different things for different couples. For some, it could be 50-50 splits. For others, it's proportional contributions based on income. And for many couples, it means recognizing that when one partner is taking on more caregiving responsibilities, whether that's childcare, elder care, or managing the household, the unpaid labor is a vital economic contribution to the family. The research shows that true financial equity means valuing all contributions, not just the ones that show up on a paycheck. The key is that both people feel their voice matters in financial decisions. Third, and I love this one so much, research shows that couples shouldn't just minimize their negative money interactions, but be more intentional about positive ones. Dr. McCoy suggests having monthly financial check-ins that feel like team-building sessions, not business meetings. One couple she mentions has date nights where they buy a lottery ticket and discuss what they'd do if money wasn't an object. The point isn't the lottery ticket, it's creating positive associations with financial conversations. The bottom line from all this research, money fights create a self-defeating cycle in which couples explicitly attempt to problem solve, yet experience greater negativity. But when couples understand that money fights are really about values, power, and emotional security, they can address the root causes instead of just symptoms. The next time you find yourself in a money fight, pause and ask yourself, what is this really about? Are we arguing about the $200 shoes, or are we arguing about whether my partner respects my financial anxiety? Are we fighting about the budget, or are we fighting about who gets to make decisions in this relationship? The research is clear. Successful couples don't avoid money conflicts. They understand what they're really fighting about and address those deeper issues. That's how you build financial harmony that actually lasts. If you found this research as fascinating as I did, make sure to like this video and subscribe for more evidence-based relationship insights. And tell me in the comments, what's the real issue behind your most recent money disagreement? Let's continue this conversation. Thanks for watching, and remember, it's not really about the money.